let's talk property. Beach boxes, car parks, grave sites. You can buy them, but you can't sleep in them. Today in property, we're talking about real estate that you can't live in. So please welcome our property expert, Catherine Cashmore.
Thank you.
So, Catherine, is this all about investment?
Yeah, it is kind of. It's kind of this fun thing where we have such a fascination with real estate, and all our concentration is on residential real estate that you can live in and the number of bedrooms and everything. Yet there's a real market there for real estate that you just can't do anything with. It's more of a lifestyle thing.
It's so weird.
Do you know, but you say it's weird, but there are some little investments in this that actually rise as much as residential real estate when you go back and start. Well, I'm talking beach boxes. Beach boxes. So your beach box, which was first introduced in the 1800s, and it was originally a box on wheels.
Right.
And to sort of, you know, because of the modesty thing around at the time, you'd get changed in your box and then they'd wheel it down to the shore, and then you'd be able to get out. And of course, gradually they evolved into the fact that they were standard homes. And you'll see them, I mean, I know them in Brighton, in Melbourne, is probably where they're most popular. And funnily enough, you have to be a Brighton resident to be able to buy one of the Brighton beach boxes. And of course, they're not building them anymore. And
they're heritage listed, are they?
They're heritage listed. You can't do anything with them.
I think you can paint them, and that's the exciting thing.
You can, actually, you can. That's right.
What are you going to paint it? Because there's some that are done in the Australian flag, there's some that are done in all sorts of different colour schemes.
Well, it must be something to do with how much you can paint them and everything too.
Let's get into it. Here's some vision of them if you're not familiar with Melbourne.
Yeah, because there's only about 3 sales a year.
And if you're not just for our national viewers, this is Brighton is a suburb in Melbourne on the bay, as you can sort of see there.
It's probably Melbourne's most affluent suburb. It's where I live.
It's not.
I'm renting, don't hate me.
It's
Actually,
there
it's
about
not, but
1
we will
week,
see
1 week per year. But let's get into what's it worth.
Let's do what's it worth. Okay, let's have a look at one. What's it worth? Here we go.
Okay, so what's the deal this week?
The deal this week, we're going to look at a beach. So it's very rare. Now, you don't actually own. You don't own.
So this is we're looking at an actual beach box.
We're looking at a beach box. So there's no freehold title. It's just a leasehold only.
Right. So you don't own the land.
You don't own the land. Walk to the beach.
Natural air conditioning.
Air conditioning. Well, you know, you've got to promote the features, don't you?
No
and here you go. So you see what.
I love that they pitch that as if that's the view.
That's right. Yeah. So that's that pretty much is your view if you had a window, which you don't have a window. Okay. Here we go. So this is one. This is a beach. No, it's not. You're right. You're correct. Brighton. It's not Brighton. It's my backyard. But look, you've got a nice driveway leading up to the front door there.
Double doors.
And so there's the view.
Oh, where is it? Oh, I know where it is now.
The thing with these is that they can end up getting into a real ego trip if you get 2 guys that want this badly. I suppose like any auction.
Well, you see, that is any auction, and you see that every weekend in Melbourne.
But I think, is it right?
There's the front again.
Is it right that this? I'm not going to give it away, but I think this is quite an affluent suburb.
It is an affluent suburb.
Okay, rightio, Loz.
And really, where the beach boxes are generally quite affluent.
I'm going to say it went for $220,000.
$220,000.
Oh, I'm going to go 175.
Okay.
200,000.
200,000. Look at you.
280.
280. Okay, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
This was a record sale, and it sold for $585,000. No kidding.
People just have too much money. That's a house.
$585,000, and 2 people. It was a bit of a bidding war. It was just like you said at the auction. And the reserve, just to be fair, on the real estate agency that sold this was down in the 200,000.
Wow.
Because that's where most of them are. Actually, most of them are around the sort of 100,000, 200,000. So we are talking budget.
So this is, am I right? This is Portsea.
This is Portsea
in Victoria.
Yeah,
let's have a look at the map.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful
Portsea is Victoria's most affluent suburb. This is the rich man's paradise.
Where people from Brighton go for a weekend away.
That's where you go for a weekend. Yeah, it's the only place where people from Brighton wish.
So let's talk about the investment qualities of this beach box. Will it go up, or is
Actually, yes. If you go back and you look at the history, in fact, if you look over the last sort of 10, 20 years and you compound the capital growth, it's gone up 10%.
Yeah.
around that per year.
And I'm sorry to keep going, we're going to run out of time again because we've spent a lot of time dreaming about those. What are the other types of real estate where we can't actually live in them that are going bonkers?
Yeah, so, well, going bonkers, I don't know whether car parks are going bonkers. They're not. And a lot of people think, oh, should I buy a car park because it's so expensive to park in the city? And you'll pay about 50 grand for a car park. Right. But for what you can rent it out for or what you use it for, you've got about 20 years before you really get your use out of it. So you've got to have job stability, which not a lot of people have.
People in the country would find it so weird listening to the fact that someone pays 50 grand just for a car
space. Isn't that crazy? I know.
I mean, essentially, you're providing somewhere for nightclub revellers to urinate after they get kicked out of the morning. I mean, car parks in town just reek.
Can we just talk about grave sites?
Yeah, this is grave sites. Now, this blew me away a little bit because when I was investigating grave sites, and somebody that made me think about this said to me, they paid 60 grand to bury their mother. So this is the listings. This is and this is a classified site, Gumtree, where they are actually listing grave sites for sale. Now, I was under the concept that you couldn't actually sell them for more than you bought them for. That's totally wrong, but don't listen to me. Because you can, and I think the record price in Australia was 200,000
for a grave site.
For a grave site. But if you think that's bad, people actually pay for the views. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. They'll pay for it because if you go to
who's appreciating the views?
Well, when you go and visit and you lay your flowers and you can see the nice bay that's out there. The location matters.
What is wrong with the world?
Just as much when you're dead as it does when you're alive.
You can find more of Catherine's advice on our website or via Facebook, where you can download a fact sheet for free. Would you please thank Catherine Cashmore?
Yeah,